farming.
Okay, great, great. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, okay, Olu Kings, can you introduce yourself, what you do, where you're joining
All right, my name is Oluwadamilare Okikiola. I'm a realtor by profession. I'm have an enthusiast, agricultural enthusiast. I so much believe in. I think it was the practice of sustainability in the real estate that also brought me into sustainability practice into agriculture. That just led me into agriculture. So I love the organic farming, organic agriculture kind of things. So I
right?
joined just to learn and also to protect the environment because I'm an environmental protection advocate.
All right, that's amazing. That's good to know. That's good to know. I guess we'll take like 2 to 3 persons, and when once it's 4:05, we'll get to start in full. So Mr. Odili Valentine, can you please introduce yourself, where you're joining in from, and what you do aspect of farming do you do? So you're muted. Kindly unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay. Good
Uh, my,
afternoon.
my name is Odile Valentine. I'm a security expert with Julius Berger. Uh, my farming to me is part of my side hustle. So I venture into hustle for sustainability.
Life public kìíní
Hi,
iṣẹ́ yìí
Ken.
dán
Hello, Kende. Can you please
ọpọlọ
mute?
máa wọ̀ mí
Please mute.
life
Thank
yìí
you.
kò lẹ́yìn.
Okay, so you can go on, Mr. Odili.
Yes, I'll say my name is Odile Valentine, like rightly said. I'm a security expert of Julius Berger.
Okay.
Uh, I'm joining from Lagos State.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, farming. I venture into farming as a side hustle.
All
So
right.
that is it.
All right. Good to have you here. Welcome. I'm sure this webinar is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot exciting as there are a lot of learnings that would be learned here from our facilitator. Okay, we'll take one more person and then we'll go right into the webinar. Marvelous Onua, kindly unmute yourself and just introduce yourself, where you're joining in from, and just let us know what you're doing, what your interest is as regards organic farming.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good
I'm
evening.
Marvelous Onoha. I'm from Abia State. I'm currently residing in Port Harcourt, River State. Well, I don't really have a farm, but then I am enthusiastic about agriculture. So I'm hoping to actually go into crop production. So, and I'm much interested in sustainability and mostly organic farming. That's actually why I'm attending this webinar. Thank you.
That's great. Good to have you here. I'm so glad that we are all together. And I know one of the major goals behind our attending this webinar is to enhance sustainability as regards agriculture and farming. And it's a good time and it's a good season to be learning this at this time. So right about now, I would be introducing our facilitator, and basically would just be here to learn and the opportunities involved in organic farming and what it holds for us health wise and wealth wise and generally as farmers and agricultural enthusiasts. Okay, so Mr. Abayomi Olusegun Oshi, please can I? Okay, okay, good to see you. Good to see you. You're welcome, sir. You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good
All
afternoon.
right, so I would just read his profile and then you would get to um get right into business. And you can just introduce yourself in the comment section. Tell us where you're joining in from, and your name, and your interest in organic farming and what you do generally. Okay, so Mr. Abayomi Olusegun Oshi began his career as a financial analyst, demonstrating exceptional proficiency in strategic planning, business development, research, human resources, and management. He is an alumnus of the University of Buckingham. Mr. Olusegun Oshin has always been driven by a belief in creating a sustainable and equitable future. In 2019, he pursued his passion for organic agricultural products and founded Black Earth Organics. Under his visionary leadership, Black Earth Organics has grown into a pioneering organic recycling company that excels in producing a wide range of agricultural products, including compost, potting mixes, organic black soil, liquid nitrogen, and organic pesticides. So join me today with your clap emoji in welcoming our facilitator for today, Mr. Abayomi Oshin, who will take us through the opportunities and benefits in organic agriculture landscape. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody. And again, it's a pleasure to meet you all. I've seen all the introductions written down, Kayode from Ekiti State and our dear friend who's a farmer in the East. Thank you all for joining us. It's going to be a time of sharing. It's going to be a time of new information or familiar information for some of you. So thank you for having me. Should we can proceed? Let Rejoice lead.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
can.
The world is gravitating more toward the organic side. And the reason is simple. Life expectancy is plummeting. The amount of cancerous evidences are becoming more frequent. You have a lot of people complaining about things that even our forefathers, even at the age of 80, didn't complain about. Now we're led by the West in general in Nigeria, right? So in the past, why mass farming, chemical farming, synthetic farming, water soluble additives was a thing was an American president one day decided he wants to feed the whole of America and feed them sustainably. And he decided we're going to start mass producing crops. Now, come to Africa, that was not the case. Our forefathers were subsistence farmers. They farmed what they ate. Hence why they were able to live to about 120 plus, right? Whereas in the West, their forefathers lived till they were 60, 70 tops. And that's because of the chemicals in which their bodies were ingested. Now, fast forward to present day, we're seeing a lot of cases of cancer in young people. We're seeing a lot of stories of organ failure and whatnot. And it's simple. It's we are what we eat. What you put in your mouth is what manifests in your body. So for us, we had to sit down and decide, okay, what do we want to tackle? And the most pertinent thing was the fertilizer space. I'll have you know that a lot of your chemical fertilizer companies, from your Dangote to your Notori, they're not feeding the soil, and ultimately they're not feeding the soil with the right stuff. And ultimately, when you eat the produces, you don't feed your body with the right stuff. They use synthetic fertilizers, which go a long way in causing cancerous cells in the body, right? Now, everybody is yearning for a solution. Everyone is complaining about a problem. So we decided to become the gap, to bridge the gap, right? And that's why we started producing organic fertilizers, compost, black soil, magic mix, which is a Starline potting mix. These are all planting mediums. They're all soil amendments. And the main heart behind it is to ensure that when people grow their vegetables, when people grow their flowers, which they put either in their food or their drinks, it's healthy. It's 100%. It is good for the body. Like someone just wrote in the comment section, we are what we eat. And so therefore, we decided to go into it. A lot of work has gone into it. It's not easy. But here we are today, trucking on. So that's a bit about why we got into this space. The gap we filled up in this space. What I will tell you is this: you really want to take your food consumption extremely seriously, and that's because if we keep going the way we are going, life expectancy is 100% going to plummet to the 40s. We're seeing young kids in their 30s, early 40s getting heart attacks, stroke, and all types of crazy diseases that didn't exist. Why? Because of what we're putting in our bodies, coupled with the environment, the firmament. The air is heavily contaminated by heavy metals, carbon monoxide, and methane, just by the byproducts of our activities in Nigeria. Your oil companies are pumping out all types of fumes into the air. In Nigeria, we don't have an MOT system. An MOT system is a system that ensures that the vehicles on the road are roadworthy. We don't have that. And because we don't have that, we see a lot of, well, we might have that, but it's not being enforced to where it should be. And because of that, the level of pollution is unprecedented. We've not seen levels of pollution like this in a very long time. So you're breathing all these toxins in. You're eating all this toxic food. Ultimately, your body becomes toxified. And so for us at Black Earth, it was about, ensuring that we can provide an alternative to these water-soluble synthetic killer fertilizers that we use to grow our food and whatnot. Second of all, even in terms of the pesticides. Now let's go back in time because we follow the West, like I said. Nazi Germany, I'm sure you know about the extermination of the Jews, the concentration camp. They used a lot of toxic material to poison the Jews through filtration system, air systems and water systems. They put them into these confined places and pump chemicals so they die, right? Now, after the war in 1945, Nazi Germany was sitting on so much chemicals, so many chemicals, and they knew that it couldn't be wasted. It had to be monetized. And America went ahead and took these chemicals and started using it for pest control. If it will kill the human being, it will kill the pest. Correct? Correct. But what they failed to realize is the soil is the biggest organism in the world. It's teeming with so much life, bacteria, all types of ecosystems in there that absorb these pesticides, right? So they get helicopters, they attach these pesticides, and they just fly over and pollute the entire farm to kill pests. But what they didn't realize was the food which they're going to ingest has also absorbed these chemicals, correct? So ultimately, what you had, people falling sick and people dying. But because it's big business abroad, it took them a very long time to come out with the data that says this is a killer substance. We really should eliminate it. So also, let's fast forward to Nigeria, right? We have big companies, few of them, but very big. It's not equal competition. They monetize some businesses due to interest. Now you have these businesses that produce pesticides, Sniper this and that, right? Okay, I'm sure you all know Sniper, correct? Fantastic. Now, if you take a canister of Sniper and you snipe your entire vegetables in your home, and you do this over the period of just 1 month, and you start to ingest that produce, ultimately go to the doctors, you're going to start seeing cells in your body dying, right? And that's because people want quick solutions to a long-term problem. You can't do quick solutions to a long-term problem. With the chemicals, it's a hit it once, like your fleets, and it's done. They're dead. But are they really dead though? Does anything ever work that quickly? No. But they never tell you about the back end, the health problems that will happen. So at Black Earth as well, it was important for us to ensure that if people are going to grow their food organically, because we know things like pests exist, they've been with us from the beginning of time and they would outlast us. So we have to handle the topic of pest control. So how do we go about this? We have to use organic pest control. That is the only way. So beyond using predatory pest control, which is also organic, which is, say you have bees or grasshoppers, then you get an invasive type of crickets to come in there and eat those up. That's organic still, correct? Predatory, it's like a cat eating a rat in an infested place. It's organic. But you because of where we are, you can't necessarily get these type of predatory approaches to pest control. So we decided to create a product called ProLife. This is a product that attacks from your spider mites to your black ants to your aphids to your caterpillars to your slugs. It gets rid of all of that, and then it also maintains so that you don't get these things coming back in. It took a very long time to come up with this product, months and months of research, but we got there, and now the feedback has been fantastic. I'd employ you all to look into the organic version of any single thing you see yourself using, even for your mosquitoes, because you see, you spray the Baygon and whatnot, and you think, oh, it's gone out, but it's not gone out because it went into your pillowcases, it went into your clothing, and you're going to put that on your body, and your cells are going to absorb that straight away. So I guess what I'm just simply trying to, impart to you guys in a nutshell is, for every solution you're looking for, make sure it's in your best interest. Make sure it ensures life and longevity, especially in terms of what you plant your food with and what you control your pests with. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bayomi. That was so enlightening. I'm sure that a lot of people have questions already, right? Before we go into the question and answer session, I would like to ask that you throw more light into the entrepreneurial part of organic farming.
Excellent. Okay, sure. So basically, the entrepreneurial part of organic farming, like I said, has existed since your forefathers. You know what I mean? They all traded by barter. It was a barter system back then before the capitalization of the world. And as such, entrepreneurship in organic farming has always existed. And it's literally growing things organically or producing soil additives and getting it to the people who need it, right? And the opportunity in this landscape is vast. I welcome you all to join us. I welcome serious-minded people to join us, because the landscape, the work that needs to be done in our country in terms of food production is vast. We're not even scratching the surface. A country with 250 million people and counting, wholly undeveloped farms across the country. I mean, it's just a world of opportunity, but I'll promise you one thing. The man selling manure. Manure is organic, that roadside manure, but I bet you 9 out of 10 of them, you don't want to be like them when you see them. And that's not in a negative or in a picking at them way. It's because the manure producer has still not found a way to perfect a product that, yes, although it came out of an animal's behind, this product is healthy. It carries no E. coli. Your children can play with it and put their hand in their mouth and they wouldn't fall sick, right? So that's a person who has found out that, yes, manure grows plants, and he was okay with that. He can make his money, you take it, and the plants grow. But do they really grow? How can something that has been in an animal's behind 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden become ethical enough for you to grow your food with? A lot of animals have various diseases, cows and whatnot, right? Now, when they defecate in the feces, there's a lot of illnesses, a lot of bacteria that you don't want in your food. You really just don't want it in your food because it would harm you and ultimately can and will kill you. So the point I'm making is the opportunity is so vast in organic farming, but you have to be serious. You have to come in and want to make a dent. You have to be patient. Black Earth is in its 4th year now. And I can promise you, we're only just scratching the surface in terms of who we are. The dream of Black Earth is beyond products. It's beyond food supply. It's a gospel. Not to be religious, I am a Christian, and I believe your craft should be your gospel. Your craft, whatever you find yourself doing that God is blessing, should be your gospel. So integrity should be the top on the agenda. You should always want to be the best at what you do, because ultimately that is your gospel. Do you understand what I mean? So the opportunity is vast, but you have to come in with a willingness to be patient, to learn, and to do the work. Because it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy, but it's worth it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Especially when you're not motivated by just money, but you're motivated by the smiles on people's faces, the testimonies of, I had knee pains, but since I started growing my vegetables organically, the pain is gone. That's what God has mandated us in this world to be lights. So even in what you do every day, you should become the lights. You should be giving solutions to people. So please, I implore you all, join us in this space. Come with a serious mind, and get your hands dirty. And I promise you, we'll have another webinar where you'd all say, yes, you were right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bayomi. Okay, sorry, I apologize for the breaking transmission. I don't know if you answered the question I asked initially.
Opportunities for entrepreneurship in organic farm.
Yes, okay.
I think I answered it.
Okay, that's great.
Maybe the people in the chat should let me know if I answered it. I can reiterate it if they want.
No, I think they've gotten it, and that's fine. Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people have questions, and I'm seeing some questions already in the comment section. Yep, yes. So I think we'll just take one of the comment sections before we now allow people to ask their questions.
Sorry, and before we proceed, if you've not used our products ever before, I implore you to try and get your hands on some of our products. You can send us a DM on Instagram, or you can just WhatsApp our Black Earth line. It's very pertinent. We would also drop our contacts in the chats. It's very important that you interact with our products and get to see the standard in which we're operating in as a guide to even you when you begin. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, we are going organic here. So yeah, what question? One question is, how do the productivity and yield of your organic farm compare to conventional farming? I hope I got that. Yeah.
Sorry, can you ask that question again?
So the question says, how do the productivity and yield of your organic farm compare to conventional farming?
Got it. Fantastic. Thank you for that question, whoever that was. So basically, this is what it is. Why synthetic farming became so popular was the promise of quick yield. Okay? The promise of quick yield, which is, I want to grow corn, or use these fertilizers, you have corn in 2 months. Okay? That was why it became popular. Okay, correct. But what they didn't tell you was this. Soils that use chemical fertilizers soon enough become desertified. They lose their nutrients capacity. The Katium exchange capacity of that soil plummets. And it's because synthetic fertilizer carries no life, right? So once that crop has come out, and also the nutritional value in that crop is lacking, it would always be lacking. It would contain heavy metals and a lot of things you shouldn't be putting in your body. But in the physical form, you will see a crop, right? But it's not the best. Now, let's say there's a piece of land. This is one piece of land, and this is another piece of land. This land uses chemical fertilizers, okay? And this land uses organic fertilizers, okay? Good. 5 years of farming on this land? No, that's too generous. 2 years of farming on this land. You wouldn't be able to farm on this land in year 3. You know why? The nutrients in that soil have been depleted. The microbial activity, like I told you, the soil is the biggest organism in the world. The microbial activity down the drain. You know why? Because microbes need to feed on something. They need to feed on things that also nourish them to keep nourishing the soil. Microbes release, nutrients into the soil through their activities, through their defecation that prolong the longevity of that soil. But using synthetic fertilizers, what you'd find is that soil soon enough becomes desertified. You know what desertification means? Desertification simply means what happens in Saudi Arabia. That soil, that's desertified soil. You could grow nothing on it. It's been stripped of humus. Humus, I hope you're all taking notes, please. Humus is a critical part of organic farming. It's the store of nutrients in the soil that keeps it dark and rich and humic, right? Now, enter this land that has been using black earth compost. Year 1, you used it. When you come back in year 2, immediately you find out that soil in year 1, before you used it, and in year 2, while you're using it, you're going to see the K-term exchange capacity increase. You're going to see more microbial activity. You're going to see more happy microbes jumping up and down. You're going to see more life. You're going to see more greenery. You're going to see a high level of K-term exchange capacity. Write that down and check out what that is. And the reason why is simple. You're feeding what feeds your body. You're feeding those humus. Sorry, I can see humus, humus, soil humus. You're feeding those microbes with the food that they can eat. They can mate. They can reproduce. They can give off the gases and the nutrients that the soil needs to keep being arable. Do you understand? So ultimately, with chemical fertilizers, quick yield, but short-lived. And of that quick yield, so much of it is poisonous for your body. Organic farming. So if it takes, for instance, 4 months to get a crop out of the ground with the chemicals, with the organics, it may take 5.5 to 6 months, so just a bit longer. But you will keep farming on that soil over and over and over and over again, which is the difference. A chemical fertilizer supplier will say, no, just do crop rotation. Crop rotation can't save you anymore. You know why? You don't have enough land to crop rotate. And in those lands that there are even remaining, you'd find that you'd have to do a level of work to bring that land to the level that you can start farming in an arable way. So yes, crop rotation is good, and it may save the chemical user 1 more year, because after you've planted whatever it is, let's say rice, you plant something that's high in nitrogen, let's say beans, to restore nitrogen into that soil, correct? Because we all know that nitrogen is what causes growth in plants. It's what also feeds into the photosynthesis, we could go into that, but we don't need to divert. Nitrogen is a very key additive for plants. It causes the green pigmentation as well, okay? So what you'd find is this. Ultimately, you're going to find that soil stops. So okay, let's go back to crop rotation. So you used rice, and now you're planting beans to restore nitrogen, okay? But even the beans that traditionally should restore a great amount of nitrogen to ensure that you can keep farming, that beans can't add enough nitrogen because that soil has been depleted. It's in the minus. It's in the deficit. You get it? Do you understand? So that soil that you've used chemicals for to plant your rice, for instance, you come back and you want to plant beans in it to restore the nitrogen, but it can't restore enough nitrogen because using that chemicals, you've set that soil back 5 years. So let's say the nitrogen is meant to add another year to it. The soil is already in the minus of 5 years. So that's the difference. Sustainability, renewability, longevity. That's the difference between chemicals and synthetics. And you can see how if you're consuming a lot of chemicals, you don't live long. Just take that to the soil. Same thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That's been amazing. It's been amazing, and it's just so evident that if you want to get your hands dirty to have a clean environment and stay healthy, it requires patience. Really, it requires
Absolutely.
patience. All right, so we'll go over to those that have questions. I can see quite a number of hands raised, as well as questions in the comment section rather. So I will just give room for those that have questions. So please, I will just call those whose hands are raised. So if you have questions, you can just signify with your raised hand emoji, and then I will call you. Okay, so Dan Asabe Yakubu, please permit where I pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I hope I got that right. You can ask your question now. Hello, Dan Asabe. Okay, so if you're not responding, then Gozie Ako, you can ask your question. Gozie Ako, okay, he's also not responding. Then Olu Kings, please go ahead and ask your question.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bayomi. Thank you, moderator. Too. So my question is, um, in the light of this conversation, in the light of the problem we have now in Nigeria, because I believe we have numerous problems as far as agriculture is concerned. I mean, some persons, some agricultural experts have um, projected that we might be in famine already.
We are in farming already, correct? That is not
So
a lie.
what can we do in the light of this conversation to help the situation on ground? What should the government be doing? What should we as individuals be doing, to contribute to whatever it is happening right now? Thank you, sir.
Excellent question. Let's put the government on one side for now, because what the government should be doing, there are many things. As in, where do we want to start? Forget even food, forget agriculture. There are just too many things. But I'll speak because I believe in accountability. You see a lot of people blaming the government for a lot of things, but change starts with self. So I'll speak on what we can do. First and foremost, you guys we need to make a decision once and for all. Do we want to live or do we want to die? And do we want to die young? I'm sorry it sounds harsh, but that's the truth. Do you want to live or do you want to die young? The moment you decide you want to live, then you ensure that whatever it is going into your mouth, you can verify it, you can vet it. The only way you could do that is by growing your own food. You all need to start growing your food yesterday, not today, like yesterday. So, as fast as possible. Now, how? Everyone has a patch of land. And even if you don't have a patch of land, you could grow in a bucket, you could grow in a bathtub. Or you could come to Black Earth. We do raised beds. We have products where even if you don't have land, it's no longer an excuse. You'd get a raised bed and you start growing. You need to start growing your vegetables, your staples, for instance. I know you guys love pepper and tomato, and all these corn and all these different things. Your staples, things you find yourself consuming every day. You need to get that in check. You need to ensure that you're in charge, because what you consume every day is what essentially it's what your body feeds on daily. If you're consuming chemically grown tomatoes, spinach, and avocados every day, it's a matter of time you're dead. Sorry, I'm a very frank person. There's